the other issue when I was speaking with the seniors advocate is the issue around housing. And some of you may have heard and seen this report that was released by the seniors advocate. It is entitled Seniors Housing in BC, Affordable, Appropriate and Available. And you have some fabulous. And of course, in that report, it finds that the government actually are not servicing seniors, not to our surprise. The affordability question is not provided for, the appropriateness of the housing is not addressed, and the availability of the appropriate housing for the seniors is also not available. And she makes a whole slew of recommendations related to that, and we're going to advocate strongly on that front. Now, I also just want to point out there are some 7,000 seniors who qualify for the rent supplement, by the way, in the province of British Columbia that don't even know that program exists. So if you know of seniors in that situation, they're having real tough time making ends meet with the cost of housing and so on, they are qualified for a senior supplement, a housing supplement. And then they need to apply for that. It's simple to make that application. And again, if people need help with that, contact your local MLA and make sure that happens, because that will help a lot of seniors in terms of the question of availability. And that was one findings from the Seniors Advocate report, that some 7,000 seniors don't even know that that program exists. And the government is not going around advertising that to let people know, because they are advertising stuff about how great they are, but not on vital services and programs that matter to the lives of people. Now, related to that, on the issue around housing, and that impacts all of us, and particularly seniors as well, that is a major platform item for us on the NDP platform side. The federal government, in 1993, the federal Liberals, once again, had actually canceled the national housing program in this country. And in that cancellation, had the government not canceled that national housing program, to now, there would have been, get this, an additional 600,000 units of affordable housing across this country that we now don't have. So Harper, of course, following exactly in the same footsteps of the Liberals prior to them, they are now going to, of course, end the subsidies for co-op housing as well. So the non-profit housing subsidies are coming to an end, and the co-op housing subsidies are coming to an end, and that's going to impact us to the tunes of thousands. I'm talking about thousands of units in the co-op housing sector that would get really, really impacted, and people who live currently in those co-op units are going to lose their subsidies, and the affordability is going to be a real issue. And again, we're going to spiral down in terms of the issue around underhousing and homelessness. Now, I am very proud of Tom Mulcair and the NDP team, because 2 weeks ago, Tom was out here and I did an announcement with him in Vancouver, and he announced major infrastructure for major cities like ours. That includes, of course, the normal course of things, keeping roads and bridges repaired and that kind of stuff, but also a transit, and someone talked about transportation and the importance of it for an election, but I would say not just for an election, but for everyday life in terms of seniors, and Tom has a plan, the federal NDP will have a plan, should we form government, to actually inject money into our transit system to the tune of $1.3 billion each year over the next 20 years. We will also ensure that housing is addressed as well, and we would bring back the funding for the nonprofit housing side of the equation and for the co-op housing sector. But in addition to that, we will also inject resources and different initiatives to help see an additional up to 10,000 units of market housing, lower end market housing, rental housing be built, so that you have that full spectrum of housing opportunities. Because right now in Vancouver, the vacancy rate is at 0.5%. So there's very little housing available even in the market side of things. And so we have a full spectrum of the housing equation that we're going to bring forward should the NDP form government, to which we are going to elect Tom O'Kerr as the first Prime Minister for the NDP in this country.